Okay, imagine this. You're at the grocery store, loading up your reusable bags, because you're eco-conscious, of course. But then disaster. You forgot your produce bags, and now you're stuck choosing between loose potatoes rolling around your trunk, or, gasp, a paper bag.
And that's where our deep dive begins today. We're going behind the scenes to explore the world of paper bag machine operators. You know, the people who make sure those bags are ready for your impulsive grocery decisions.
We've got a stack of insights from RoleCatcher, the career development platform. We're talking career guides, interview tips, the works. And you know me, I love digging into the unexpected. So whether you're considering a side hustle or a full-blown career makeover, we're serving up the inside scoop on this surprisingly intriguing field.
And it really is more interesting than it might seem at first glance. You might think, paper bags, how boring. But RoleCatcher opened my eyes to how much this industry is changing, especially with the focus on sustainability.
Right, like I was blown away to learn that some companies are even experimenting with biodegradable coatings made from seaweed. Seaweed. Who knew it could be so versatile?
It's true. And this constant innovation means there's a growing demand for skilled operators who can handle these increasingly complex machines. It's a classic example of how environmental concerns can actually create some pretty cool job opportunities.
Okay, so let's paint a picture for our listener. We're talking about working in a factory setting, right?
Yeah.
Big machines, probably a bit of a buzz in the air.
Exactly. It's a hands-on environment, that's for sure. But for someone who thrives in that kind of atmosphere, it can be a great fit. Think about it. You're working with your hands, you're part of a team, and you're producing something tangible. Plus, RoleCatcher highlighted that these roles often come with benefits like stable hours, overtime potential, and even pathways to move up the ladder. It's not just a job, it can be a real career.
Okay, so we've established that it's not your average desk job. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does a paper bag machine operator actually do all day? I'm picturing giant rolls of paper, whirring gears, maybe a button or two to push.
You're not wrong, but RoleCatcher breaks it down into different career stages, and it's much more involved than you might think. It's not just about feeding paper into a machine. There's real skill and knowledge required at every level.
Okay, let's break down these stages, starting with the entry-level position. What's it like for someone just starting out in the world of paper bag manufacturing?
Think of it as your apprenticeship. You're learning the ropes, getting a feel for the rhythm of the factory floor. You'll be feeding those giant rolls of paper into the machine, making sure everything is running smoothly, and keeping an eye out for any hiccups in the process. RoleCatcher used this great phrase. They said you're transforming plain sheets of paper into reliable carriers of everyday life.
I love that. So even though you're starting at the ground level, you're still a vital part of the process. What's really cool about this entry-level stage is what RoleCatcher said about experience, or should I say, the lack of experience required. They specifically mentioned that you don't need a specific degree to get started, right?
That's right. And that's a huge plus for people who might be looking for a career change or who learn best by doing. It's all about on-the-job training, proving yourself through hard work, and a willingness to learn. It's a real opportunity to get your foot in the door and start building a career from the ground up.
So you've mastered the basics, gotten comfortable on the factory floor, and you're ready for the next step. What's next in our paper bag journey?
Well, that's where you level up to junior operator.
Junior operator. Sounds like the title of a summer blockbuster. What kind of challenges does a junior operator face?
Remember how we were talking about problem solving? This is where those skills really come in handy. Think troubleshooting machine glitches, maybe a paper jam that needs to be cleared quickly, or adjusting settings on the fly if there's a change in the type of bag being produced. You're not just feeding the machine anymore, you're keeping it running at peak performance.
So it's less about brawn and more about brains at this level. I like it.
That's right.
I bet that's where those transferable skills come into play. Even if you've never worked in a factory before, chances are you've developed some valuable skills in your past jobs.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that. The importance of skills like attention to detail, mechanical aptitude, and even communication, since you'll be working closely with your team to keep those paper bags flowing. So think about the times you've had to troubleshoot a problem, whether it was fixing a leaky faucet at home or figuring out why your Wi-Fi wasn't working. Those experiences are all valuable here.
Interesting. So you're not just making paper bags, you're building valuable skills for any career. Okay, we've tackled entry level, we've conquered junior operator. What's at the top of the paper bag career ladder?
Ah, the senior operator. That's where you become the maestro of the paper bag orchestra.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
You're not just responsible for one machine anymore. You might be overseeing an entire section of the production line.
Leadership, big picture thinking, maybe even a little bit of conducting a paper bag symphony with your team. I love it. What does RoleCatcher have to say about reaching this level?
They say it's all about continuous improvement. Remember how we talked about the industry evolving with new materials and technologies? Well, as a senior operator, you'd need to stay ahead of the curve.
Makes sense. You don't want to be the conductor who only knows how to play one note.
That's right. And RoleCatcher highlighted that many companies actually offer ongoing training programs to help their employees learn new skills and adapt to the latest advancements.
That's awesome. So there's room to grow even at the highest level.
Definitely.
Speaking of adapting and evolving, let's say someone listening is ready to make this career jump. They've got their hard hat ready, their resume is polished, and they're about to step into a job interview. What should they expect?
This is where RoleCatcher really shines. They have a whole section dedicated to interview prep, and get this, they even have these AI-powered tools that can analyze your answers and give you feedback.
AI-powered interview prep. Whoa, now that's high tech. So tell me more about these interview questions. What are some common ones people should prep for?
Well, one that really stood out to me from RoleCatcher's list was about dealing with difficult situations on the job. Like, think back to a time when, say, a machine jammed up on you, or there was a sudden last-minute change in production orders. How did you handle it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I bet they want someone who can think on their feet, someone who doesn't just melt down when things get a little stressful.
Exactly. And remember those AI tools we talked about?
The ones that analyze your answers.
Yeah. You can actually record yourself answering these kinds of common interview questions, and then the AI analyzes your response, like your tone and everything.
So it's like having a personal coach in your pocket? That's wild. All right. So for our listeners out there, what would be a good answer to that difficult situation question? Just so they have a solid example to go off of.
Okay, so the key is to keep it short and sweet. Focus on what you did in that situation, not just what you thought. And of course, highlight those skills they're looking for. Like, a good answer might sound something like this. One time, the machine I was operating started jamming, and we had this big order due. I quickly found the issue. It was a torn paper roll, swapped it out, all while letting my supervisor and the quality control team know about the haul-off. We were back on track in no time because I stayed calm and just followed the procedures.
Wow. Problem solving, teamwork, communication, all wrapped up in one quick story. See, that's why you're the expert.
You could say that.
So it sounds like becoming a paper bag machine operator is way more than just, pushing buttons. It's a skilled trade with its own unique career path. And with the industry growing and changing all the time, it seems like there's a real opportunity here.
Absolutely. And for our listeners who want to learn more, dive into the nitty-gritty of salaries, companies, all that, RoleCatcher has a ton of resources you can check out. It's a goldmine of information, really.
Perfect. So whether you're just starting to explore different career options or you're ready to take the leap, it sounds like they've got you covered. And hey, if this deep dives into the world of paper bag making, which, let's be honest, is way more interesting than it sounds, has you curious about other unique jobs out there, make sure to subscribe. We'll be back with more surprising career deep dives before you know it.